They can come in. Yeah. Okay, we're good. Okay. So this is I'm calling it scrapers, but you could also call it like browser automation, etc. You can easily turn this into like a proper web scraper where you would actually go in and like grab all the links that are on a page, and then create a spider that goes in all the different links and stuff like that. But the type of thing that I'm interested in it for the time being is basically browser automation. So I want it to go out and do tasks for me and pull data back from websites that don't have a conventional API. So either because I don't want to pay for it, if like I don't want to pay for an API, or just because there is no API, there's only some sort of a browser thing, which you go hit the browser. So basically, using this technique, you could turn anything that would show up in a browser kind of into an API. That being said, it's very flimsy. Okay, so prior art in Elixir, there's Hound and Wallaby. So I don't know, has anybody, I'm going to break Casper's rules and just like, you guys can shout back because this is kind of interactive, not super polished. If people have heard of this sort of stuff, let me know. Hound, Wallaby, they both were able to like harness various browsers. Hound, I think, was earlier, and Hound was also more directed towards web scrapers, whereas Wallaby is more directed towards testing. And Wallaby is, useful, but it's a little bit old hat. You can do various browsers, and you can use Selenium. So Selenium is kind of like a master runner of various browsers, so you can run various browsers under Selenium. So Selenium is a Java thing, but basically Playwright is kind of like replacing Selenium, but now you can access Playwright directly using Playwright EX through this library that I'm using. So if it's not at all clear, basically when Chrome came out, they realized that they needed to like automate the thing to be able to do their testing properly. And so once that happened, you're able to like actually command the browser to be able to do stuff. And they realized it was useful for testing front end stuff. So you can also run it headless. You can run it headed or headless. For debugging, you mostly want to run it headed. In other words, that the GUI is going to pop up and show you what's happening. It makes debugging a lot easier, but you can't always run like that if you're running in like Docker or whatever. Okay, so web scraping is a pain in the ass. It's annoying to maintain. It's annoying to build. Breaks all the time. Lots of random failures. So just be prepared. Like this is table stakes for web scraping. It's like equal parts fun and infuriating, where you'll get some minor result and you just be like, triumph. I got it to recognize the button. The button. I'm now clicking a button. So that you have to take your triumphs when you can. And then it's very much like running your test suite or whatever. It's like it's going to break. Stuff is going to break, but it's going to break for all kinds of reasons, like timing issues, stuff that's outside of your control, flaky browser activity. Your internet could be slow that day. It could be the other server is slow that day. All kinds of different reasons for why stuff can break. There are a whole bunch of ways that you can kind of try to build robustness into the system, but no matter what, you're never going to get it flawless, and so there has to be some sort of like retry option ultimately if you wanted to turn this into like an automated thing. Okay, so Playwright is very useful. I don't know, has anybody done scraping before with any other thing? Like, yes? Okay, has anybody used like, what is it, like Puppeteer, Selenium, etc.? What's that? Python. Okay, so, but anyway, I would say Playwright is probably the best one that is out right now. It's a Microsoft thing. Yeah, it's like good. The other ones are all like even more of a pain in the ass. Like with Playwright, it tends to do what you expect it to do, kind of by default, without too much additional ceremony. So if you had used the other ones like Selenium or something like that, Selenium would be like more direct. Like the thing actually, the thing that you said you were asking for, it didn't happen. Whereas like with Playwright, there's some degree of like auto retry and stuff like that. So it has some robustness that's already built into it within Playwright. So it's kind of like starting web scraping on easy mode. And you can actually be productive with it. Whereas I find that with the other ones, it's too direct, and so you're having to like do all those retries and stuff like that yourself. So with Playwright, you can control whatever browser that comes with it. I can't remember all the different ones, but running headed, I think you can run Firefox, Chrome, Chromium, and WebKit, and then headless. I don't really know what the whole list is, but there's lots of them. Probably also depends on platform. Like if you're on Microsoft, you can run Edge and stuff like that. So Playwright is written in JavaScript, which is very handy if you know JavaScript. And if you know JavaScript, like also, no shade, that you could just go use Playwright right now in JavaScript, and that would be totally fine. But we're writing Elixir, so I'm using the Elixir for it. Playwright, arguably, in JavaScript is more featureful because it's sort of natively written in JavaScript. And I wouldn't recommend it in probably other languages. It needs to have like sort of a strong async game. So JS is pretty suitable for this type of thing. I mean, Elixir is even more so, but JS is fine. I wouldn't recommend using Python. I'm not sure exactly how well it would work in Java or something like that. You would need some sort of an async thing happening in order to be able to use it very well, because you need to have like an event-driven thing. Playwright also has this auto-generate feature, which is super handy, where you can basically just go generate your tests by starting this auto-generate command, and then you just go click around the browser to do the steps that you want to do. So that was kind of how I started my task, is like, this is the series of steps that I want to do. Click around, you record all the events in a window, and then you copy the events out, and then you can modify them for the Elixir case. So the thing that it's most useful for is it gives you all the CSS selectors. So this is the auto-generated code, what it looks like, which probably doesn't really look that pretty. It's JavaScript code, obviously, but it's this sort of stuff. This is like what it does, which is like you have a page which you're working on, you have a locator, and then the locator is a CSS selector, and then within this one it's getting a content frame, so this is happening within an iframe called this thing, and then within that you're trying to grab a locator with an ID of fines, whatever that is, lat long, etc., and then you want to click it. So yeah, it's self-descriptive, and if you understand what JavaScript does, you can probably understand what that's doing. Elixir has a slightly different style because, Elixir is a different language and different, ideas about what makes a good language. Any questions, just, jump in. Okay, so you're always using these CSS selectors. So it's very common to have something like page.locator with this CSS selector. And then once you have the element selected, then you do something with it like click or fill in or whatever. So if you're familiar with CSS, this is like, there's an input element, and then you have an ID of this. This is just looking for that ID. This is looking for that as a class. This is looking for it as like an attribute. So ID equals whatever this is. Then this can be like anything that would normally be in HTML. So this could be like name. This could be like a custom thing or whatever. This could be looking for anything within HTML. So you have element name and element value. So it can look for anything that you would have within your HTML. So let's take a look at why we want web scraping in our lives. Okay, so here's a typical day in my life, is that my wife sends me a realtor.ca listing, right? And she's like, oh, go look at the price for this thing, that what it's sold for in the past, and what the assessed value is and stuff like that. And none of this stuff is like really accessible material. There are sites that you can find it for free if you know what you're doing, but it's not really like accessible, right? So what I was doing before I, came up with the web scraping thing, okay, go to directions, and that takes me there. Okay, it's driving me to this place. Okay, now I have to find it. For some reason it thinks that I'm in Edmonton. I have to find it, and then I have to find like the GPS coordinates. But fortunately, it's got the GPS coordinates up here. So then I have to go to this other website. Okay, yes. And if you notice like the design of like 2000s era, whatever, okay. Okay, now I have to remember, it's like, what was I supposed to do here? Yes, I have to go to search, and now I have to go to search by street address, but I can also go over to the map search. And then once I get into the map search, let's wait. Let's wait. Oh, it's there. Okay. And now I can go into the map. Okay, this looks like success here. So now I just have to zoom into the map. But then the map resets itself. Like nothing is working with this stupid site. Okay. Uh, okay, but maybe there's some hope over here. Maybe there's some hope over here. Okay, I can go to the place if I had the link number. If I had the settlement lot, I don't know any of this sort of stuff. Coordinate lat long, that looks promising. Oh, why do we have 3 values here? Because it's the old version of lat long that's degrees, minutes, and seconds. So I've got this lat long that's the conventional thing of like decimal, right? And so now I have to take these decimals and I take them to another site that I convert them into degrees, minutes, and seconds. Yes, I know. And you're already saying, stab me. Just end the pain. So, yes, after all this, I'm like, I need to just write something that scripts this whole thing and I don't have to deal with this painful thing anymore. And this isn't the only site, okay? There's another site where, okay, this one will eventually give you the tax assessment, okay? So that you can see how much the property is that the town or the municipality thinks it's worth. And then the other one that you want to look at is the registry. Oh, sorry, this one is the registry, the other one is the town site. So with the registry, it shows you what it's sold for previously. So if it was last sold in like 2007 or something like that. So you understand this pain. Okay, so while we're here, we'll show you how the whole scripting thing works, or the auto-generate. So you just go into here, and you don't even have to really be in a project. I mean, it needs to be someplace where it's going to recognize what NPX is, but you don't really need to be in a project because it's not actually like generating code for you. It's just generating it in a window, okay? So and I think, let's just see what I did before. Yeah, okay, so if I generate it based off of this site, this is the starting page of one of my my scripting things. So if I do that, then it should start this up. Okay, and then what I want to do from here is I want to go here, and then we wait. Another fun thing is that I think it's the other site, the registry site. It shuts down at 9 o'clock at night, 9 p.m. So you have to strictly observe the times, and it's also it doesn't start again like it doesn't start until 12 p.m. on Sundays because like I guess the maintainer has to go to church or something, and then afterwards they can like get back to the house and push go on the server. I don't know exactly. Yeah. Okay, so this is doing its thing, and I want to go to here, and then I want to go to lat long, and then I want to fill in my values here. Which one of them is like 51? The other one is minus 113 something. Okay, so this isn't going to work because it's not the exact values, but what it's given us is all these things. So then you would grab all these values and then bring them into your program and then grab your CSS selectors. So this is doing a ton of work for you because it's basically going and finding your CSS selectors for you, and then you can kind of work from there. Otherwise, you have to basically do like right-click, inspect, and then look at your HTML and stuff like that. So that the code generator is super useful for you. And if you wanted to do this in JavaScript, you'd be doing this and then just pull this code into JavaScript and then modify it to make it more robust. So it's doing some things that are slightly stupid, which, you know, it's doing it in like an automated fashion. So um, don't judge too harshly. So that's how the code generator thing works, which is, it's very useful. No real complaints about that. Okay, so when I actually run the code now, I don't know. Do you guys want to see what the code looks like? So this is what it looks like when you're writing. Okay, so this is don't judge my style. Okay, this is just like scrambly scripted code. Okay, but the first thing you got to do is you got to open the browser. So we launch with Firefox, and if you don't put any value in there, I think it chooses Chromium by default. And that'll give you a browser, and then from the browser you can derive a page. And then the page, I want to set the viewport because I want it to have the same size so I can place the cursor. But if you don't set that, it'll open it up as whatever default size. I can't remember what the default size is. And then I want to go to this site. So I'm going to the real estate site. The eventual plan is to like turn this into like more of a website where you put this into a text field or whatever, and then it does it all, you know, behind the scenes, does it all properly. So it goes in, grabs the link. So it took me a while to figure it out. I was like, I couldn't figure out how Realtor was always getting the directions right, because I was thinking that it was giving this value to Google Maps, and that Google Maps for some reason was figuring it out properly. But then you look at the link and it's got the coordinates in the link. So then it's like, aha! I don't actually have to I don't have to mess around with the Google API at all. I thought I was going to have to, you know, submit the address to Google API and get the proper thing back. But it's already in the link. So this is another thing. You just have to be observant with some of this stuff and like look for these sort of things. So seeing it's in the link, I can just grab the link. So that's what I'm doing here. So looking for that, grabbing the link, pulling it back to here, and then I pull the query arg out of it, split it off, and I get the coordinates, send it to this thing that I got ChatGPT to make for me, which splits out the latitude and longitude into degrees, minutes, and seconds. And then I can place it into the field of that thing that I was on before. So this thing, place it into these values, and then just goes through, you know, all the different steps that you need to do, puts it into the right fields, and sleeps are magic. Okay, so it's like, if in doubt, chuck in a sleep and see if that helps. It's hacky, definitely, and there are probably better ways, but to be honest, there's only so much that I want to deal with this page and like monitor for a spinner disappearing from this page or whatever sort of thing. So until I actually have to make the code robust, it's like, put in more sleep. If in doubt, you can put in a bit more sleep, and you know. Well, this thing, in theory, okay, that spinner that showed up, right? Did you see it up here, the spinner? So you could monitor for that spinner, right? And then be like, oh, the spinner's gone away or whatever. There's lots of different things you could do, but like you can basically look on the page and be like, what would I, as a as a 2000s ASP developer, how would I think about this? And then you could try to like psychoanalyze, you know, a developer from 25 years ago, and that's also fun. Or you can just put in sleep, and just if in doubt, put in more sleep. So the sleeping is just waiting, obviously, which that's also incredibly variable, because that could be like your network is taking longer or whatever, you're logged into a VPN or something or whatever. Lots of different reasons why that could be doing weird things. So yeah, after this is inputted, then it's going to find the right location, and then I want to click in the middle of the screen. So find this thing and click in the middle of the screen, and that's going to pop up the thing that I want, which is another window, because ASP 2000 era was like, we like to pop up new windows all the time. It's not even like a new tab, because a tab was a new concept. It was like a whole new browser window. So this thing just spawns browser windows all over the place, and you have to keep. That's another thing that sort of surprised me, is like, actually it's not too difficult with this library to be able to track like different browser windows and different tabs and stuff like that. It's like, it's all entirely possible. So, you know, fret not, somebody has figured it out. Yeah, so after we click in the middle of the map to get the thing that we want, it's going to pop up another browser window. So hopefully we've got, yeah, the tax assessment here. So that's the thing that we popped up there, and just taking a screenshot of it. Some of them are like an actual proper web page, like, wrong one. That's Fatboy Slim. Yeah, so this one's pulling up a web page, so I can actually like scrape this, okay? But some of them are popping up like a PDF or some other thing that's not really searchable. So then it's all incredibly manual. It's like, what did I find? Is it an image? Okay, I guess I have to OCR this now. Whereas this one is like, this is actually useful information. So this role and this link number are useful to, data points. And then I want to know the tax assessment. This is the main value that I want, essentially, which is the latest tax assessment. But then it also, oh, this is not going to let me scroll. Down here, oh, here we go. It gives you past tax assessments. So this is also really useful information. It's like showing you how much the property has appreciated.
What's the water on the property?
The water?
Is it a well?
I don't know.
Why is it so cheap?
So this is the outcome from your scraping.
Yeah.
That's rad.
Yeah.
Your scraping produce a web page. Like,
Well, the intention is to just create assets at the end that I'll store that. But this is just, the browser window is still open because I didn't close it. So like here, at the end of this script, right? I should close it, but I'm not, so it's just staying open. So if I'm going to automate this, then I will actually manually close it. So this one up here, if you can see, yeah, I'm closing it here. So that's in the other task. So if you're running it in an automated fashion, like on your server, you definitely want to close it, because you don't want it just consuming memory.
so that's the page itself. You just have a screenshot of that web page itself.
Yeah, that's the intention, just to go and do a screenshot. But it's actually more useful to just get the data out of it than a screenshot in that case. But also getting like the images and stuff like that out of it would be, useful.
So did you set up a cron job to intercept the emails your wife sends you?
That'll be the next step. That'll be the next step. And then I'll just set up an LLM that talks like me to receive all of the WhatsApp messages. Okay, so let's look at what the other one does, which is something similar. So this one grabs the real estate site, and then it pulls the GPS coordinates out of the site, takes them to this site, and then actually like parses them, drops them into there. You come into here, and then you pop this up, and then this is the money. This is the money here, is this thing. So the whole goal of this is to get to this button that gives me this report that then says the last time that this was sold was 2007 for $205,000. So that's useful information for a buyer. Yeah. So anyway, that's basically it. That's what it does. It takes things that are very annoying and makes them marginally less annoying and more repeatable. So I'm tempted to turn it into a product. I don't know if that's like actually in the cards or not. I mean,
Time to quit your job, dude. This is nuts.
well, I mean, like, I don't know if it's, really that many people that want information on rural properties in Alberta. It seems kind of unlikely. Like once you're outside the cities, and people don't really care. Calgary is less painful to get this information. Yeah. So that's the other thing, is that you would have to implement these things for each of the different systems in order to be able to get the similar information. And then it's like, how do you make all the information uniform? Yeah. So once you're outside the cities, you're into like the smaller markets where you're, yeah. Yes.
So your purpose is not like create a chart for different houses. It's for create a screenshot for each web page.
My
Next step is to make a chart.
I thought if you have like 10 houses, you can grab the essential information.
Dude, don't tell them this. This is like
Yeah,
gonna make them
it's like
billions
$1 million.
of dollars.
my intention basically is for all the houses that my wife wants to see, just instead of her sending the house to me, she just goes to a website and does this, and then gets all the information that she wants to see, and then I don't have to do anything else. That's the main idea. And like as a product, to me, it looks like something that you would sell to prospective homeowners or to realtors and things like that.
Kevins would buy this. But just, I'll put like $50 a month into this system, so my wife could just paste it in here.
Yes.
Too.
Yes.
So I still don't understand. Your wife sent you what, a picture of the house?
No, she sends me the realtor.ca link. This thing. So she sends me the link, and then she's like, "What do you think about this house?" And I'm like, "Kind of the same as the last one."
So your how to say your project is to go inside that link and then scraping the essential.
Well, the only thing I really want out of this link, like, I mean, if you were to turn this into a product, but also you're kind of treading on like legal territory of like, meh, where it's like if I started pulling pictures out of this, right? If it's for personal use, then probably doesn't really matter. But if you're turning into a commercial
Nobody cares. Good luck litigating you.
yeah, well, except that they do have their watermark in the top corner.
Different between this and then the data.
What's that?
So this has the data you have already.
The only thing I want out of this page essentially is the GPS coordinates, which are in that link right there. So you can see that it's popping up here. This is 51 dot whatever. Okay.
So it's like grabbing the information you're looking for.
Yeah, that's all that's grabbing from this page is just the GPS coordinates, and then taking the GPS coordinates and then putting them into the other two maps that I want to be able to search. And then once I have those results, then I can get the tax assessment and the prior sale values.
Like you'd offer them less if you saw this was being flipped a bunch of times.
I don't know. It's just information as to like understand. Like you can see with this particular property, last time it sold was 2007, and it sold for $205,000. So their mortgage on it probably is like $100,000 or something like that. And it's like gives you some negotiating power.
You're sitting on a gold mine. You need to copyright this immediately.
It's not really a copyrightable thing, but the moat on this is essentially accessing these services is a massive pain in my ass, and it's going to be a massive pain in the ass for anybody else that wants to be able to try to access it. So paying $20 a month to be able to just not have to do this amount of work is useful on its own, which is yeah.
Yeah, we got like Canadian payment gateway for you too. Helson. They're in Calgary.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're gonna take like nothing off that $20 a month.
Well, we'll see. I'm not sure how badly I want to turn this into my life because, you know, as I said at the beginning, web scraping is a pain in the ass. And like it doesn't actually stop. Like this gets you to a result, but then, you know, everything from here is diminishing returns in terms of like you are going to work harder and then you're still going to have all kinds of things break all the time. And then once Realtor figures out that you're using their site, then they'll be like, give us money. And then if they understand that you're getting this aspect of it, then they'll mask that or something. So who knows? So anyway, it's like when you're doing web scraping stuff, you're always on like a borrowed ledge on the side of a cliff, right? That anybody can just pull off at any given time once they understand that you're standing on the ledge and they don't want you there anymore. Well, the Realtor does have a paid API. So if it was like something that actually made money. I'm not seriously like considering going and making money with this, but if it was the type of thing that was actually making money, then you would just go pay for their API, then you have permission to use the stuff. And I'm pretty sure that you can get the pictures and stuff like that with their paid API. So yeah. Anyway, any further questions, Your Honor?
I have a question.
Yes.
Usually when I need to do something like that, I use Puppeteer. I use Playwright to make the E2E test.
Okay.
Did you use Puppeteer to create E?
Oh, Puppeteer?
Yeah.
No, I didn't use Puppeteer at all.
Okay, because I was thinking that the only purpose for the Playwright is create not the unit test, E2E test. I didn't know that you can do this.
Yeah, yeah. Any type of thing that you can do with an.
But the main purpose for the Playwright is create tests, no?
That is their initial idea with it, but you like once you have the ability to like harness a browser, you can do whatever you want with it right after that. So fun fact, remember this device that was called Rabbit from like 1 year ago or 2 years ago that was like selling this little device that was using Playwright on the back end to like automate. It's basically using browser automation to doing this janky shit that I'm doing. That's what the basis of Rabbit was doing, whereas like essentially using Playwright in the background that to go do browser automation to create these sort of APIs. Yeah. I mean, anything that you can do with browser testing, you could turn that into a scraper. So like this is essentially how Google is scraping internally. I don't know what they're using specifically. Like they have whatever tools they use. And from Microsoft's perspective, they want to have something that's reliable so that, their own developers can test their websites, right? I mean, they're not doing Playwright out of the goodness of their hearts. They're just, like it's a tool that they're using themselves, and then they're releasing it to the public because they want the web to be better for everybody in theory, but they also want to be a leader in, open source stuff. So yeah, it's very useful for this sort of purpose. And this is easily the easiest way to do like this type of browser automation, web scraping, whatever you want to call it, is with Playwright. Like this is not actually that much time invested. I think I did most of the work on Monday. So this doesn't represent a ton of work, what I did so far. Casper.
Do you get access to Playwright's debug mode this way?
I don't know what Playwright's debug mode is. Tell me.
So it's kind of like a step up, where like.
Oh, you can step through?
Yeah, so you can like step through and you can like hijack the execution, and then go, I want you to do something else instead.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't investigate that far. Oh, that's the other thing to say about this library is that it's not feature complete with like the conventional Playwright stuff. Like Playwright JS is by far the most complete, and then Playwright Python is also officially supported, but it's not as feature complete as the JS stuff. And in theory, I think the Elixir library, it seems quite accessible. Like anybody could jump in there if you wanted that and just write it and contribute it to the library.
Yeah, the JS one gives you the option to like step through line by line. It'll like give you a separate window with everything that it's going to do.
Yeah.
And so you can go to our next line and watch what it does. And then if you've got like an issue with your script, you can see it that way and then hijack it at the time of the error and go, well, just do something else instead.
I don't think so. Something like debug.
Yeah, I think when you do it with the Playwright JS, like it's an argument that you specify, like run this in debug mode.
We have debugging tools. Oh, we have a launch. visible to the browser. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't try it, but that looks promising to have debug true. Oh, this is the environment. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That it's not implemented yet. I'm not sure. It's unclear to me. I mean, it is quite clear. Like it's labeled alpha, right?
Yeah.
They're not saying that you should go right with this right now. And if I was to do this as like a commercial thing, you might be tempted to just go with the JS thing because it's more feature complete, or just use this and then fill in the features that that it's missing.
Yeah, we use it for end-to-end tests at Hiive. Like, I'm a horrible front-end developer.
Yeah.
So it's nice to get that to like see what it's gonna do when I write my like really garbage JavaScript code to be able to step through line by line and be like, all right, well this is why it's not working. But
Yeah.
it's also nice that you can like record what you're gonna do and turn that into a Playwright script.
Yeah.
It's a super cool tool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Playwright is a fantastic tool.
Yeah.
Like it's once I started using it, I was like, Wallaby either needs to adopt this, or I'm gonna have to find a way to use this from Elixir. So I'm really happy that they came up with this library. And like I said, when I don't know if you got the same feeling, Casper, but when you're working with the JS library, it's like we could hook into this thing so easily. Like we should be able to just make a wrapper with Elixir with this. It's like there's the same, you know, the same kind of async paradigm. It wouldn't be a problem. Whereas the Python is a very bad fit for Playwright. For one thing, with Playwright Python, by default they get you going with like the sync mode, and then halfway through they're like they sort of rug pull you and be like, haha, actually async, and then you have to go rewrite all your stuff as async, because with Python it's colored functions that once you start going async you have to do async all the way up the chain. Anyway, that's it.